Good morning, super scientists. So sorry about these links not working. We are hopefully trying something new. Well, we are trying something new that hopefully will work better. So today we are talking about weather fronts. And if you listen to the weather or with your mom and dad or with an adult, or if you just like to listen to the weather, you may sometimes hear the meteorologist talking about weather fronts. So we're going to learn what those are. So fronts are boundaries. So a boundary is like a separation. They're boundaries between two different air masses. So if you think of like a person's yard that has a fence going down it, that's a boundary between two different yards. A front is a boundary between two different air masses. Okay, so air masses might be like hot air and cold air, and then that where they meet, that's the boundary. Okay, so fronts bring a change in air temperature. And a change in air pressure. And they also might bring precipitation. Okay, so first, let's talk about a warm front. You might hear the meteorologist say, there's a warm front moving in. That means that there is a warm air mass that is replacing a cold air mass. And we get these a lot of times in the spring. Now, this results in, so this causes warmer temperatures rain and clouds. Okay, so on the weather map, when you hear the meteorologist talking about a warm front, you may see a line that looks like this, and that's telling where the front is moving. And the warm front, let me draw some clouds up here because we do get some clouds in here. Remember, we have the warm air rises, so we have warm air that's coming in. And then we have our cold air down here. Okay. Okay, now sometimes you'll hear the meteorologist say we have a cold front. Right now I'm hearing this a lot. There's a cold front moving in. And a cold front is when we have a cold air mass that replaces a warm air mass. So it's the opposite of this one. It replaces a warm, there we go, air mass. And this results in, so what we see when we have a cold air mass replacing a warm mass is temperatures dropping. So it gets colder. We just had one of these come in last week. Temperatures dropping, and we might see some storms. So narrow lines of storms. I think it was last Friday we had a cold front come in, and they said expect to hear some thunder. Narrow lines of storms forming. Okay. So when we see this on the weather map, you'll see a line moving in, and I always think of these as like icicles. They remind me of icicles coming in. Okay, and they're moving the way the cold front's moving. All right, we might have some cloudies up here because we can have some storms. Okay. And we'll see the warm air meets the cold air. Draw some rain in there too. Let's see some rain in there. Okay. Last but not least, you may hear the meteorologist say we have a stationary front. Stationary means you're standing still. Stationary front is sometimes called a stalled front. If your car stalls out, it won't start. Okay? So stationary and stalled tells me that it's going to stay put, and that's exactly what it does. A stationary front stays in place for a long period of time. So it can be days that it will kind of just sit on us. Okay, so this can bring long periods of rain and temperature change. Okay, so when we see this on the map, it looks like a combination of the warm front and the cold front. Okay, so it looks like a combination where we have our warm front and our cold front. And this is where we have, let me see, we have rain. Rain kind of just sits on us here. And we have the warm air that is kind of pushing in. And we have the cold air that's kind of pushing out. And it just kind of locks us in to a long period of rainy weather. Not necessarily stormy, just rainy. All right, superstars. I hope you learned a lot about Friends today. Have a wonderful rest of the day. See you soon.